You're finally getting noticed, but now you're facing a big one. Trust or trade. You're blowing up, finally. The streams, the DMs, the label deal. But here's the gut check. Will you own your future or rent it from the industry? This video is your brutally honest guide to the smoke and mirrors of major labels versus independent power.
From Taylor Swift and Frank Ocean to Snoop Dogg and Spotify's saga to Web3 breakthroughs like SoundRig, we break down the trade-off, the traps, and the truth behind the glitz.
Success is knocking, but not every door leads to freedom. Don't just chase the dream, build it. Stay till the end to discover how real ownership starts with you.
I know where you are because I was there too. Late nights mixing in your room, pushing your SoundCloud link like it's oxygen, hoping just one person with reach sees you work.
And when they finally do, your heart races. This is it. I made it. But let me ask you something. What exactly are you trading to make it? Most major label deals aren't what they seem. They front you money, but it's a loan, not a gift. They promise distribution, but they pick the singles. They market you, but they own you.
Taylor Swift found out the hard way. She didn't own the masters to her first 6 albums. UMG sold them without asking her. That's why she's re-recording her life's work just to reclaim it. Or look at JoJo. She had platinum hits before she was 18, then vanished. Not because she stopped working, but because her label refused to release her music. Years of silence, not by choice, but by contract.
Signing a deal is like dating someone rich and controlling. They'll take you to dinner, but you can't pick what you eat. They'll post you on the gram, but mute your voice in real life. That's the trade.
I get it. The industry fast lane looks shiny, the cosigns, the playlist spots. But speed isn't always success. Sometimes it's a crash you didn't see coming. Trusting the independent route is harder. It takes patience, grit, but it gives you freedom. And freedom is worth more than any advance check. Because when the hype fades, what you own is what you keep.
When success comes knocking, it doesn't always bring flowers. Sometimes it brings a contract. One that looks golden but feels like a leash. And right now, you're at that door. Your streams are climbing, that video finally hit, a manager just slid into your DMs, the label's offering a deal. The dream you've been grinding for is suddenly real. But here's the thing no one tells you. Not all success is created equal.
You've worked for this. You've made beats at 2 a.m., shot music videos with borrowed cameras, promoted your song in every group chat and on demand. And now success is knocking. You feel seen, validated, like it's finally your turn. But hold up, before you open that door all the way, ask yourself, what exactly is walking through it?
In the music industry, success can wear a disguise. It might be a record deal that looks like freedom, but locks you into 5 albums you don't control. It might be an advance that feels like win, but turns out to be a loan you'll spend years paying back. When success came knocking, they answered, but they didn't know what they were letting in. Sometimes success shows up like a hot date, who turns out to be clingy, expensive, and allergic to your independence. Don't let a blue check mark blind you. You don't have to trade ownership for opportunity. You don't have to beg for advances when you can build equity. And you definitely don't need to sell out to be seen. Because here's the truth. When you define your own success, no one can take it from you.
You know what's tempting? That fancy label life? The industry giants, the champagne toast, the cosigns, the studio selfies with A-listers? If you're grinding in your bedroom studio right now, I bet you've imagined it. Just once. Or maybe every day. I did. Because when you're broke, tired, and hungry for a shot, the idea of a major label coming in and saying you're next, that hits deep.
You picture it, a limo picking you up, a label rep handing you a contract with a smile, your name trending the next morning. Suddenly, people are calling you a signed artist like it's royalty. You're not begging for playlist spots anymore. They're calling you. And the money? They say there's an advance, a budget, an A&R team ready to mold your next release into a hit, and all you have to do is sign the deal, right?
But here's what they don't put in the sizzle reel. That advance? It's a loan. That A&R team? They might change your sound, your message, even your image. Those budgets? You pay them back before seeing a dime. Frank Ocean knew. That's why he dropped the visual album, Endless, just to finish his contract with Def Jam. Then he released Blonde independently the next day and kept the bag. You see, that fancy label life can quickly turn into a fancy prison. It's like being invited to a 5-star hotel, but you can't leave the room, and room service charges you for every breath. You wanted a launch pad, you got a leash. So yeah, the label life looks good. But if it costs you your voice, your ownership, your timing, is it still worth it?
You didn't sign a deal. You signed away your control. Break down real cases. Taylor Swift, JoJo, and Frank Ocean. Talk about delayed payments, master ownership, and creative restrictions. It's like being a chef, but not owning the recipe.
You wanted to make music. Now you're waiting for emails. Everybody wants clout, success, right? But here's what they don't tell you. Clout has a cost. And sometimes that cost is your ownership, your voice, or worse, your freedom. Let me tell you why clout is so tempting. You post a freestyle, it goes viral. A blog features your EP. Someone from a label follows you.
And then a contract shows up. The label says they'll take you global. They've got budget, branding, tour support. You just need to sign.
And in that moment, you're not thinking about splits or rights. You're thinking, this is my shot. Don't fumble it.
But here's the thing. Clout doesn't always equal control. Taylor Swift had the clout. Millions of fans, Billboard #1s, Grammy wins, but she didn't own her masters. When UMG sold them to Scooter Braun, she had no say. JoJo had the clout. Platinum records before she could vote, but her label shelved her for years. Her voice, muted by contract. Prince literally wrote "slave" on his face, not for attention, but to protest the label owning his name and music.
You had 1 billion streams and think, I made it, but what if your payout is just 45K? That's exactly what happened to Snoop Dogg. Yep, Uncle Snoop himself. He called out Spotify after seeing pennies for numbers that should have made him millions. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just Spotify. It was the contract, the rights, the split.
You see, if you don't own your music, the label eats first, the publisher eats second, and you licking crumbs off platinum plates. Snoop bounced to a Web3 platform, made noise, and after a real talk with Spotify, he came back with a better grip on his masters.
Signing a deal for clout is like trading your car for a photo of yourself next to a Ferrari. It looks great on Instagram, but now you're walking home. Look, clout feels good, but you can't pay rent with retweets. You can't buy back time spent waiting for permission to release your own song. And at the end of the day, real power comes from ownership, not attention. Because when the hype fades and the algorithms change, what you've kept is what truly matters.
Now imagine this. You upload a track, fans stream it, and boom, you get paid. What if you had the power? Not just the talent, not just the dreams, but real tangible power over your music, your money, and your future. I'm talking about the kind of power the industry doesn't hand out, but the kind you can now claim. Let me show you how SoundRig is changing the game.
The industry is being disrupted from the outside. Enter SoundRig. It's not just another platform. It's a Web3 music ecosystem built on blockchain, which means smart contracts pay you the second your music is streamed, licensed, or sold. No waiting, no label gatekeeping, no middlemen eating 85% of your earnings. Just you, your art, and your audience.
You upload your track. It gets minted as a digital asset on the blockchain. You set your splits, so collaborators, producers, even your engineer get paid instantly and transparently. Your listeners support you directly. You watch the revenue in real time. That's not the future. That's right now.
Here's the bottom line. You already have the talent. You already have the story. What you've been missing is the power to turn that into sustainable success. And that's what SoundRig offers. Ownership, speed, transparency, control.
You've seen it all. Janky distribution platforms, royalties stuck in limbo, middlemen who promised exposure but disappeared when it was time to pay up. Maybe you signed a standard deal that didn't feel so standard after the check stopped coming. Or maybe you're just now clawing your way out of that contract you didn't fully read when you were 19. So when someone says blockchain, instant payouts, or artist-owned, yeah, you squint a little. Sounds too good to be true.
You're right to worry. We've been conditioned to believe real success only comes through gatekeepers. And now that something like SoundRig shows up saying you don't need them anymore, it feels suspicious.
It's like someone offering you free studio time, and your first thought is, where's the hidden camera? You've been through enough to know nobody gives artists power unless the rules have changed. And they have.
Now, let me be clear. This isn't about blind trust. It's about informed ownership. It's about finally understanding where your money comes from and not needing a manager or lawyer just to explain a royalty statement. SoundRig doesn't just give you tools, it gives you transparency. And after years of navigating this broken industry, that's more than legit. That's revolutionary.
So yes, ask the hard questions, read the smart contract, do your research, because skepticism is a sign of growth, not fear. But don't let fear stop you from building something real, because this time, the power is not behind the curtain. It's in your hand.
Here's the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud. No one's coming to save you. Not the labels, not the platforms, not the playlist gods, not even that A&R who keeps checking in. And I know that sounds cold, but trust me, it's not the end of the story. It's the beginning, because the moment you realize it's all on you is the moment you finally take your power back.
If you've ever sat there refreshing your DistroKid dashboard praying your payout hits, if you've ever waited months for royalties from a song that hit way harder than your bank balance says it did, if you've ever hoped a major label would swoop in and change everything, you're not alone. I've been there too. And for a long time I believed it, that success would come once someone else gave me permission. Waiting for a label to save you is like waiting for Wi-Fi in a cave. It's not coming. And even if it does, it'll probably buffer. You don't need rescue, you need resources. And more importantly, you need to believe that you're already enough.
Because if no one's coming to save you, then you are the one you've been waiting for. Own your sound, own your path. And if you're ready to move, click on the link in the description to sign up for exclusive updates, rewards, and a front row seat to the music revolution. Or you can also click on the card above to find out why I'm betting everything on Bitcoin for the next 21 years. Until next time. This is Blockchain Money.